A very good morning to all of you. I hope everybody can see and hear me clearly, and I hope everybody knows. All of you would be familiar with the session by now, right? This session happens 6 days a week. My name is Sanoujam, and I take editorial analysis at this time, 10 o'clock, 6 days a week, right? And in the beginning, we used to do editorial analysis articles taken from different uh, newspapers, articles taken from different what do you call articles taken from different sources, right? But as the exam is drawing closer, we are focusing more on CAT questions. So that is what we will do today. Before I begin, let me quickly show you the entire week's YouTube schedule. This is something which you might already know, right? But just in case you tend to miss out, right? Uh, you can actually take it up this way that if you look at it, the session which you're attending right now, this is something which happens 6 days a week, as I was telling you already, right? And this is uh, it happens 6 days a week except Tuesdays, right? And the other sessions also you can see, you can take a quick note of it. And today, what I will do is I'll pick up a passage from CAT 2017 and a summary question also, right? And one more thing which I should tell everybody is that so far we have been focusing on different types of passages. There is one type which we have not been focusing too much on, that is passages related to science, related to research. So that is what we will focus on. Okay, so let's see. This is the first question. I would like all of you to try this. This is a summary question from CAT 2017, right? And once you try it out, once you read the passage, I will show you the options also. I hope everybody can read it carefully. Everybody can read it clearly, I think. Okay, Aniket is saying, have you checked out the SimCat mock? The VRC section seems to be very hard. Uh, okay, well, I have not seen it actually. When I get time, I will see it. But generally, the difficulty level is something which they try to mimic, right? I mean, the difficulty level is basically an attempt to mimic the actual exam, right? So, anyway, let's see. Difficult है तो अच्छा है because it should be challenging. ठीक है. वैष्णवी, hurricane क्या होता है? Hurricane is basically like a storm. Everybody is reading it, I hope. And this is the beginning, right? This is just the summary question. And if everybody has read it, I will quickly show you the answer options. Everybody has read it, I hope. Read, okay. Options में दिखा रहा हूँ, just a second. These are the options. Right. Now, while you are attempting the question, let me quickly tell you summary में हम क्या किस पे focus करते हैं. While summarizing, we focus on meeting this. We focus on matching the scope of the passage as close as possible. What is the scope? Scope is what is covered, what is not covered. For example, in today's session, the scope is passages taken from science and research or scientific research based passages. So this is the scope of today's session. Usi tarah, the paragraph which you have read will have a certain scope, so not go beyond that. Okay, let's see. Now this is just the beginning. After this, I will show you a passage, right, which has been taken from CAT 17, and it is likely to be confusing. It is likely to, to give you little bit of confusion, because scientific and research based papers passages में ज़्यादातर you come across arguments, you come across logical arguments. That is what we will see, right? Okay, Aniket is the first to give his answer. Aniket thinks the answer is C. What about others? And also you should try to eliminate options. जब हम summarize करते हैं तो whatever is against the passage eliminated, whatever is wrong eliminated, and whatever contains less scope eliminated, whatever contains more scope eliminated. ठीक है? So different answers. Most people are giving, some people are saying B. Majority are saying answer is C. अच्छा, B में क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Let's try to understand. Look at B. Global warming does not breed the storms. यहाँ तक ठीक है, but makes them more destructive. यहाँ तक perfectly fine. The Clapeyron equation, though it predicts potential, cannot predict the scale. The problem was with this first part. The equation cannot predict the scale. This is something which the author does not say at all. Right? The equation is only mentioned like this. Look at the equation. If you look at it, right? So what is this? When the air is warm, it holds more water vapor, and there's about a 3% increase in the atmospheric content. This is the equation. It does not tell you that the equation cannot predict the scale of damage. So this part is eliminated. So I've eliminated B. Right now, if you look at it, the storm Harvey is one of them. The focus is not on the Harvey. Harvey is only an example of a storm, right? So focus not on the example, focus on the main point, right? So best answer is C. D में गड़बड़, I think everybody would have noticed. It is naive to think that rising sea level. Naive basically means it is stupid. Naive is basically lacking in practical wisdom. So if somebody is naive, it means childish, lacking in practical wisdom. So this qualitative judgment is not there in the passage. But you got the point, I think. Right now, and one more thing, there are multiple problems. This may not be true of all storms. Harvey is taken only as an example of a storm. It is one of the examples, right? So he does not say that it is not true for all storms. Okay, everybody got the point, right? Now C में एक जगह है which nobody asked. So let me ask you, ये कहाँ है? Global warming resulting in sea water volume expansion, water vapor will fill the air faster, storm more destructive. ये सब ठीक है, but in sea melting of glacier, do you see at this point in the passage anywhere? You will not see it directly, but it is indicated. देखो here, as the seas warm, right, they evaporate more easily. So if the sea is getting warm, chances are it might melt glaciers. So this is not 100% correct, but this is the best answer. Okay, right. Okay, one of you saying my voice is inaudible. Can everybody quickly confirm if the audio is fine? I think it should be fine. Right. Or otherwise, it could be a problem at the local level. Sometimes you need to refresh and all. So can everybody quickly confirm if the audio is fine? Fine. Okay. Right. Okay. So everybody understood. C, melting of glacier is something which is indicated where I showed you the seas get warm, right? And यहाँ तो directly stated भी है global warming which has melted glaciers, directly stated है. ठीक है, right? So this is something which we need to be clear about. So everybody understood. So a very quick summary, summarize करते वक्त क्या eliminate करना है? Something which focuses unnecessarily on the example, eliminate करो. Something which contains an extra line, eliminate करो. Right? Something which is wrong or contradictory, eliminate karo. If you eliminate options, it makes it much easier for you to arrive at the answer. Okay, so this was the first question. I hope everybody got it. Now let's move on to the next question. Right. So as I was telling you, we will try a passage from CAT 2017. It's a different flavor, science and research based. Not that it is going to be extra difficult or such, but we should be used to, we should be accustomed to every type of a passage. We should be willing to, we should be able to solve every type of passage. That is what we are trying to. Right. So this is the first slide. Right. Everybody read it carefully. Just ऐसे तीन slides है. It's one of the shorter paragraphs. Those of you who have taken or who have seen CAT 2017 and 18, right, will know that out of the four passages, two are short and two are slightly on the longer side. Okay, so that is what is there. Okay, Yash was asking me naive. Naive क्या होता है? Naive मतलब somebody who does not know the real practical world, right? So in short, naive, unsophisticated से similar है, same नहीं. So if a person is naive, it means he is too simple, right? Does not understand the practical wisdom. दुनियादारी जिसको नहीं पता. So that is somebody who is naive. ठीक है? I hope everybody is reading this slide. Right. Are there words which you do not know? Probably imperceptibly means in a way that cannot be perceived. Okay, so everybody has read it, I hope. Okay, Anjali is saying masoom. Masoom positive word hai. Okay, masoom is taken in a positive way, right? Well, but naive थोड़ा negative, मतलब it's like too simple that थोड़ा stupidity type का. ठीक है? Zakaria Malik, this class happens not every day. It will happen. It will not happen tomorrow. Tuesdays को नहीं होता. Otherwise, it happens 6 days a week. ठीक है? I think people on the app are not responding. I hope everybody is reading it. विक्की डार्विन्स थियरी वालों के लिए एडवांटेज है हाँ मतलब साइंस तो सबने पढ़ा है सो एनीवे इट इज सो द ओनली थिंग व्हिच वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल अबाउट इज इन कैट एवरी टाइम यू विल सी ऐसा एक पैसेज जरूर आता है मतलब इफ नॉट हर बार नहीं तो मतलब बहुत मतलब इट हैपेंस वेरी फ्रीक्वेंटली दैट वन ऑफ द पैसेजेस इज रिलेटेड टू साइंस इब्राहिम कॉन्ट्रैक्टर नाइव ऑल्सो मीन्स गलिबल हाँ कनेक्टेड है बिकॉज अगर नाइव होगा तो बहुत जल्दी विश्वास करेगा दुनियादारी ही डज नॉट हैव इनफ practical wisdom so he will be very easy to cheat and misguide. Okay, right, everybody has read this. So what is the passage saying? Right, if you notice speciation, what is speciation? Speciation is a theory that was propounded by a person called Ernst Mayr. Right, what he said that if a population in a species, if a certain population was separated from the other individuals of the same species, they generally develop special characteristics. Getting the point? Right. So the isolated population, they will be separated and they will develop distinct and separate characteristics. Why? Because they are not intermixing with the remaining part of the population anymore. Okay. Everybody understood? स्पेशिएशन का मतलब क्या है स्पेशिएशन ऐसा कोई वर्ड है नहीं राइट बट इट इज डिफाइंड हियर विदाउट सेपरेशन जीन फ्लो वाज रिलेंटलेस मतलब अनस्टॉपेबल बट एज द सेपरेशन persisted the isolated population grew apart and speciation occurred that means isolated raha same species so they develop special they are different from the remaining population because of isolation okay everybody has read it I hope. Now let's look at the next slide. Now be very careful, right? So far, if you notice that has the author committed to any kind of an ideology, any kind of a theory, or is he simply mentioning what Mayer said? So he was simply mentioning what Mayer said. Now, what does he say here? So अभी तक Mayer ने क्या कहा था? Same species अगर सेपरेटेड हो जाता है सेम स्पीसीज का एक स्मॉल पॉपुलेशन फ्रॉम द अदर इंडिविजुअल्स राइट दे आर सेपरेटेड इनका जो डीएनए है इनका जो they develop special, they are different from the remaining part of the species, though it's the same species, right? So when they are separated from the population, right, they have special characteristics. DNA intermixing जो है वो नहीं होता. ठीक है? Everybody got the point, I hope. Right. So what is he doing here? And so far, as I was telling you, the author has not given his theory or her theory. He has only, he is only telling you about, the idea. He was only telling you about the idea of Mayer. Right. Now, in this paragraph, if you have read it, you will see that the author is bringing in another idea. In the mid 1960s, right, the biologist Paul Ehrlich, right, and his Stanford University colleague Peter Raven and Paul, let's say Peter and Paul, right, they challenged his ideas about speciation. How did they challenge? How did they challenge? By studying a certain variety of butterflies called checker spot butterflies. It's a kind of butterfly, right, living in the Jasper Ridge Biological Preserve in California. And it soon became clear they were not examining a single population. What is he saying? Here it is indicated that same species isolated bhi nahi hai, but then within the species, despite living in the same place, they were separated. They had different populations. So even so, they researched and they were able to provide that within the population spread over just 50 acres, there were three groups that rarely interacted despite their very close proximity. This is the finding. So separation के लिए mountain या अलग कुछ नहीं चाहिए, right? It is something which, even though they live in the same place, sometimes the same species gets divided into many populations and they hardly interact. This is the finding of Peter and Paul. Everybody has read it, I hope. Everybody has read it, I hope. सबने पढ़ लिया हो, I hope. Everybody has read it. No responses from anybody. Especially even people from the app, nobody is responding. As I was telling you, this is a question from CAT 2017, right? And this is ऐसे एक type, एक passage तो पूछते ही है. There is something which they always ask. Done, right? This is the last slide. Last slide. Let's see. Vaishnavi, ubiquitous means present everywhere. Okay. Cohort basically means people belonging to his group, his companions, his teammates. Okay. Cohort means somebody, a part of your party. So if you say mayor and his cohort, matlab mayor and his supporters, people in his team. Everybody is reading it, I hope. Right. So Elric and Raven, the new, Peter and Paul. The name Peter and Paul करके बोलते हैं. Second, they're taking it by second name because normally that is how, formally ऐसे ही करते हैं, right? So what have they established? Right. They have established that isolation and gene flow से उतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता, right? It is made more the differentiation or divergence. Differentiation जो होता है, it is not because of just isolation in gene flow, right? It is also because of natural selection. So despite living in the same place, because of natural processes, right, some populations may simply be different and they may not interact with the others. So divergence is by natural selection. Isolation and gene flow से भी फर्क पड़ता होगा लेकिन बहुत कम, right? So this is what he says in the last line. So they suggested that without the force of natural selection, isolated population would remain unchanged, right? मतलब isolated population जो है, it will remain unchanged in the sense that if the isolated population does not have natural selection, they will be the same, right? And in other scenarios, natural selection could be strong enough to overpower gene flow. So that means sometimes natural selection is more of a factor than gene flow and isolation than in creating diversion. Right. So divergence create करने में natural selection is stronger than isolation and gene flow, according to Elric and Raven. According to Mayer, Divergence was caused by what? Was caused by nothing else but isolation and gene flow. Isolation अगर हो जाता है तो gene flow continue नहीं होता, so they develop special characteristics. This is what is C. ठीक है? Everybody got the point? Himanshu, ubiquitous means present everywhere. Ubiquitous means present everywhere. Everybody got the point, I hope. Shall we look at the questions now? Everybody, सबको समझ में आ रहा हो? Now, if you notice, such passages are challenging at the same time easy. Easy इसलिए because you have a clear-cut flow of ideas. Scientific and research papers का यही है. You will have a clear-cut argument, clear-cut flow of ideas. But the problem is, अगर flow of ideas and clear-cut ideas को नहीं समझ में आए, then you will not be able to get the answer. ठीक है? So they present something like a double-edged sword. If you know the argument, you will understand the argument. It is like a straight line argument. Scientific है, right? Confusion बहुत कम होता है, लेकिन अगर नहीं समझ में आए, then it can be a little bit of a trouble to process. ठीक है? First question is this. This is the first question, right? Give your answers and let's confirm. What does it say? Which of the following best sums up Elric and Raven's argument in their classic 1969 paper? 1969 paper जो है is what is explained here. Last paragraph में हमने जो देखा था, their 1969 paper is what they in the last paragraph. ठीक है? What did they sum up? Choose the best answer. Be very careful, right? Everybody, those on the app, those on YouTube also equally, right? You should respond, right? Till the time you engage yourself, till the time you try it out, right? You will not be able to understand. And by the way, something which I always have been telling everybody is, हर क्लास में हमेशा बताता हूँ, गलत आंसर ऑप्शंस को एलिमिनेट करो. Even if something is 1% wrong, it cannot be the correct answer. Right. So people on YouTube have started replying. Everybody is saying answer is C so far. Right. But those on the app are not responding. Are you getting the answers? Okay. What is wrong with A? Elric and Raven ने क्या इसके खिलाफ the theory which they provided, was it not against Mayer? Mayer ने जो पहले कहा था उसके against है. So why not A? Why not A? Okay, so everybody, only one person has responded on the app, and everybody else on YouTube is responding. Answer is C. Correct, right? So while a factor, so isolation. So this is the Ernst Mayr was wrong, completely wrong, nahi, right? Completely wrong, nahi, right? Peter and Paul or Elric and Raven, what they proved was that isolation may contribute, but then more contribution was done by natural selection, right? So this is what we have to be careful. Aniket, correct? EM was not wrong, right? According to EM, it is separation, right? Ulrich and Raven are saying separation से ज़्यादा natural selection, isolation से ज़्यादा natural selection. It does not mean isolation does not contribute, contributes but contributes little. Okay, everybody got the point. What is wrong with, okay, what about D? Gene flow is less common and more erratic than Mayer and his colleagues claim. Is it about the occurrence of gene flow, or is it about uh, explaining diversity in the same species? The whole attempt is to explain एक ही species में अलग अलग कैसे होता है. Ernst Mayr tried to explain it by saying because of isolation gene flow रुक जाता है, अलग development होता है. Right. Elric and Raven said in the same population sometimes अलग अलग population, अलग अलग groups बन जाते हैं. So that means diversity happens without isolation also. Diversity therefore is promoted more by natural selection. Okay, so the best answer is C. Everybody got this? I hope everybody understood, right? And option B जो है, option B is not the finding, it is the physical, it's the physical result, it is not the summary. ठीक है, ये तो मतलब दिस इज वन ऑफ द पॉइंट्स दैट ही फाउंड, राइट, बट इट इज नॉट द समरी, मेन पॉइंट ये नहीं है, ठीक है, राइट, ओके, राइट, चलो, shall we look at the next slide? So answer is C. Next question is this: all of the following statements are true to according to the passage except. This is a favorite of cat. ये हर पैसेज में एक एक तो आता ही है, राइट, हियर व्हाट यू सपोज टू डू, यू आर सपोज टू फाइंड आउट व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, एंड समथिंग व्हिच आई ऑलवेज हैव बीन टेलिंग पीपल इज व्हेन यू फाइंड आउट एन आंसर टू अ क्वेश्चन लाइक दिस, राइट, चार ऑप्शंस है, फोकस ऑन फाइंडिंग व्हाट इज रॉन्ग, बाकी तीन क्यों नहीं है, इफ यू डू दैट इट विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं से तो रिलेटेड होगा ही, सही तो होगा ही, यू हैव टू रेफर टू थ्री डिफरेंट पार्ट्स, बट focus on, if you focus on what is wrong, you will be able to handle it better. ठीक है, everybody got the point? And everybody understood? मेयर ने एक्सप्लेन किया था कि सेम पॉपुलेशन में बहुत डाइवर्सिटी होता है बिकॉज ऑफ आइसोलेशन, जीन फ्लो रुक जाता है, सो दे डेवलप सेपरेटली. अदर ग्रुप सेड दैट ये डाइवर्सिटी तो तभी होता है इवन व्हेन दे आर नॉट सेपरेटेड, देयरफॉर नेचुरल सिलेक्शन विल प्ले अ मोर इम्पोर्टेंट रोल. सो दैट इज व्हाट वी सी. ठीक है, राइट, सो दैट वाज द क्रक्स ऑफ द पैसेज. नाउ ऑल ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर ट्रू अकॉर्डिंग टू द पैसेज एक्सेप्ट. ओके, विक्की ए क्यों नहीं, जीन फ्लो कंट्रीब्यूट्स टू, देखो जीन फ्लो कंट्रीब्यूट नहीं करता, इनफैक्ट एवरीथिंग इज करेक्ट except okay, people on the app are yet to answer, there are just 5 of you there, I hope all of you are able to understand. I'll tell you, देखो हर एक लाइन को मैं बता के I'll show you, right, where is it taken from. देखो, gene flow contributes to evolutionary divergence but it contributes little, right, natural selection contributes more, it does not mean that it does not contribute, so this is true, it cannot be the answer. Okay, now D, many of you are saying answer is D. D is something which is correct. Checker spot butterflies are known to exhibit speciation while living in close proximity. ये तो first paragraph में ही, you know, second paragraph में देखो, look at this second paragraph, spread over 70 acres, right, of suitable checker spot habitat. There were 3 groups that rarely interacted despite their very close proximity. So checkers, this is the finding, this is what Raven and Mayer, right, that is what, you know, Elric and Raven, sorry, Elric and Raven, right, this is what they found. What they found was that checker spot butterflies exhibit speciation, basically means alag, you know, diversity create karna. They did not interact, still this, you know, they exhibited this speciation. That is why they are saying that natural selection contributes to speciation more than isolation. So this is also something which cannot be correct, right? देखो, the population bomb question dominant ideas, population bomb कुछ और है, right, I'll tell you. देखो, what question was a paper that was published in 1969. Population bomb is not this paper. In the mid 1960s, right, author of the population bomb was a paper published in 1968, right. This is just done to introduce Paul, right, but the challenge was issued by a paper that was published in 1969. So it is not the paper bomb that challenged, why? That challenged the dominant ideas. What challenged it was an article. So paper bomb was published in 1968, right? While what question was published in 1969. So this is something which is wrong. So therefore, this is the answer. Everybody got the point, right? So if you notice, these are things that generally happen in the exams, right? You will have to be very careful about small details like this. Everybody got this, I hope. Everybody understood, right? Very small detail. Now, evolutionary changes unfold imperceptibly. देखो, answer मिल गया, so you do not need to confirm in the exam. But Just to clarify, C is also correct. Evolutionary changes unfold imperceptibly over time. ये तो directly mentioned है, right? If you notice, evolutionary यहाँ साफ साफ लिखा है, right? If you look at it, evolutionary changes that unfolded imperceptibly, right? So there is diversity. People thought that the diversity is according to a fact. That means the fact is this. Okay, so everybody got the point. I hope everybody understood. Okay, right. So you have answered two questions. वैसे भी in the exam there were just three questions. This is the last question. Let's see how it works out. The author discusses Mayer, Elric, and Raven. मतलब अच्छा, he is now asking you to look at the overall picture. Okay, he is looking at everybody, right? Not just one. He is looking at both sides. So look at what the question demands also and give your answer. The author discusses Mayer, Elric, and Raven to demonstrate. Right, he is going to demonstrate what he wants to prove. He is presenting both sides. So now look at the larger picture. Isme, the tone of the author is very important. Let me ask you indirectly, right? That did the author support anybody, or was he simply presenting the facts to you? Did he support anybody? Did the author support anybody? No, he is only presenting both the sides, right? So Himanshu, Vicky, BM, Shivani, Piyush, Ibrahim, Contractor, Anjali, Rashmi, Yash, Rohini, Patel, right? Everybody is answering C. What about people on the app? Right, on the app, I think people are still not very familiar with this session. You should know that this session happens 6 days a week. It does not take place on Tuesdays. It has been happening for around a month now. So I have discussed a lot of passages taken from that, and many of you have in fact found that that के passages tougher है, right? And if you notice, some of you are getting all the answers correct. Cat का passages relatively, generally, हर चीज में apply नहीं होता, but most of the times cat passages are easier than that, right? So is he supporting any? Is he supporting anybody? Right. He is not supporting. He is only telling you. So the best answer is C. The causes of speciation are debated by scientists. Right. What is speciation? Speciation is development of divergent individuals even in the same species. राइट, सो सेम स्पीसीज होने के बावजूद अलग अलग बहुत बहुत डाइवर्सिटी होता है, राइट. सो मेयर ट्राइज टू एक्सप्लेन इट बाय आइसोलेशन. एल्रिक एंड रेवन सेज आइसोलेशन से ज्यादा natural selection. So he is only trying to point out speciation. He is only trying to point out, that it is debated by scientists. Okay, right. What about A? Evolution is a sensitive and controversial. No, sensitive is like, because sensitive means people are willing to fight. Controversial, negative hai. So that negative tone is not there at all. Okay, right. Everybody got the point, I hope. Everybody understood? Right. Okay. So some of you are saying, Piyush is saying that the video is lagging. It's lagging in the app में थोड़ा पीछे हो सकता है. I don't know. I'm not really sure about it. But अभी तक तो things should have been clear. Anyway, I hope everybody understood. Right. So this was the passage. We will end it 5 minutes early today. I think we are ending a little bit earlier. No problem, because the passage is short. But let me just confirm from everybody. What we did right now was a passage taken from CAT 2017. ठीक है, CAT 2017 का ये shorter passage था. इससे shorter passage I did it, I think yesterday or day before yesterday. Remember, there was another passage which I have done, right? And there was one more passage about which I did some time ago. वो भी CAT 2017 का ही था. The one about e-commerce closing down malls. Remember? Right. So remember. So that is what we did discuss, right? So, and you must have realized that CAT questions are easier if you get used to that passages. Okay, Abhilash is asking me, okay, what is the best approach to mocks? Okay, देखो, अभिलाष एक चीज है, आई विल ट्राई टू आंसर. एनालाइज द आरसी फर्स्ट देन द क्वेश्चन और ग्लांस थ्रू द, देखो ग्लांसिंग थ्रू द पैसेज ये बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. ग्लांसिंग थ्रू मतलब रीडिंग इट विदाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, वो बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. कुछ भी करो, पैसेज को 3 मिनट में, देखो 600 वर्ड्स 3 मिनट्स में पढ़ के यू शुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड रफली व्हाट द ऑथर इज सेइंग. राइट. ग्लांसिंग थ्रू, स्किमिंग एंड स्कैनिंग नहीं करना है. कैट जैक में स्किमिंग एंड स्कैनिंग करोगे तो यू विल नॉट अंडरस्टैंड. You will get probably 2-3 answers wrong. Skimming and scanning karoge to. Skimming and scanning is done when you come across passages which are easy, where the answer options are directly stated. So what we should do is questions 20 seconds passage करने से पहले 20 seconds में questions एक बार देख लो, ठीक है. Then come to the passage, read it in 2-3 minutes. 3 minutes I am saying for 600 words. 3 minutes, right? Then come to the questions one by one, eliminate the answer options. Now इसमें अगर मैं क्वेश्चन पहले भी नहीं देखूं तो ज्यादा कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. The most important part is understanding. अगर मैं पैसेज नहीं समझा, I will not be able to. ठीक है, everybody got the point, I hope. ठीक है, राइट. सो विक्की, यस बीए क्वेश्चंस, देखो टाइम है लेकिन आई कैन नॉट जस्ट प्रोड्यूस इट लाइक दिस. आई हैव टू आई थॉट इट वुड टेक टाइम बट जल्दी हो गया. आई थॉट पैसेज समरी भी था, राइट. सो वी विल डू इट ऑन वेडनेसडे, डोंट नो प्रॉब्लम. आई मीन क्वेश्चंस आई कैन नॉट it cannot be done like this. I mean, I cannot write it. The questions will have to be pre-fed. पहले से it will have to be written or given in the PPT, right? So we cannot take it up now. So I will end it here. We will do it in the next class, that is Wednesday. Okay. Before I end, take a quick look at the schedule. The schedule for the YouTube classes are these, and the session which you're attending now is this. It is from Wednesdays to Monday. So that means there will be no class tomorrow. I will have class on the class will resume on Wednesday. Okay, so we will end it here. So before we end, some information about things that you need to definitely attend, that you need to take care of, so that your score, that you can have improvement. So there will be detailed analysis of NMAT. Be sure to attend this. It is on the 16th of October at 3:30, right? And those of you who are going for, or who are thinking of joining a 2-month crash course, this option is still open. And those of you who would like to prepare long term CAT 2022, there is a batch. Okay, right. So we will continue like this, and there's an open mock also. It is live till the 14th, so take it and see how prepared you are for the exam, right? These are your teachers. So we will end the session here. I will see you again on Wednesday. So till then, have a nice day. Thank you. See you again on Wednesday.